there is so much that happens between verse 6:11 and chapter 7 that I just want to visually go through it. I want to go back all the way to Luke chapter 3. And if you remember, when John the Baptist was out, here's John. When John the Baptist was out in the wilderness, he quoted Isaiah chapter 40. And Isaiah was saying that, when the Messiah comes, when the kingdom of God comes, he's going to take the mountains and he's going to bring them low. He's going to take the valleys. He's going to fill them up. He's going to take the crooked places and straighten them out. And he's going to take the rough places and smooth them out, which ends up looking like this. And then he adds Isaiah chapter 52, where Isaiah says that all flesh will see the salvation of God. And I think that in the Gospel of Luke, this idea of bringing the mighty down and bringing the low up is really important. I mean, we even see that, in Mary's song. We see that in the fact that Jesus was born among the animals and the poor in Bethlehem, and that the shepherds gather around his birth. So this is this recurring theme. Here is where we pick up from last week's text. In verse 12 of chapter 6, we see that during those days, Jesus went out to the mountain to pray. Okay, so here we have Jesus up on a mountain to pray, to talk to God. And while he was up there, he calls his disciples, right? So he does this important thing on the top of the mountain. But then look what happens here in verse 17. It says, he came down with them. He came down and stood. So he comes down the mountain and he stood on a level place with a great crowd. What's interesting and what caught my eye in that is that he's about to go into his version of the Beatitudes in Luke. And Matthew's version, Matthew has Jesus going up on a mountain to give these. So here in Luke, he makes a specific point to say that he stood on a level place. And then notice who the great multitude of people were. You've got people from Judea and Jerusalem. So here you have Jews, right? But then it says, and the coast of Tyre and Sidon. These are Gentiles. So even in this moment, we have Jews and Gentiles coming together, which isn't that all flesh, right? So I think that's pretty important. So then here's the teaching itself. He goes right from that moment, and he has these contrasts. The way that Luke organizes this teaching is that on one side he says, who are the blessed? And then he cries out a woe to certain people. And notice the parallel here. He said, blessed are the poor, and woe to you who are rich. So these are the low and these are the high. Blessed are you who are hungry now, and woe to you who are full now. Blessed are you who weep now, and woe to you who are laughing now. And blessed are you when people hate you, and when they exclude you, and revile you, and defame you on account of the Son of Man. And woe to you when people speak well of you. So here we have the people who are in society are the exalted ones. And here we have the people who in society are the rejected and the lowly. And Jesus is blessing them, and he's bringing these down. So there's that theme. And then it goes through 4 sections in his teaching. He says love for enemies, which, that's a great reversal, right? You don't love your enemies, but Jesus said you have to love your enemies. And look at this really important piece right here. He says, be merciful. That is no way to win wars or to get influence, but Jesus is this great reversal. And then he says, don't judge. do not judge, and you will not be judged. And then he this wonderful moment where you've got the guy with the log in his own eye, right? And we don't even pay attention to it, but instead we judge those who just have a tiny little speck in their eye. I mean, that's the greatest hypocrisy there is, right? And then he says, can a blind person guide a blind person? It's like, focus in on yourself first, and then you can see others clearly. And then he talks about a tree, right? He says, no good tree bears bad fruit, nor again does a bad tree bear good fruit. He's talking about this isn't about external things. This is about internal things. Who are you on the inside? So he's reversing again that this is about the inside, not the outside. And then he talks about two foundations. What are you building your house on? Are you building your house on sand so it's washed away? Or are you building it on the foundation, the rock of this great reversal of what is the true kingdom of God at the depths of reality?